And then season 4, one small map that is hinting at another Resurgence map. So it sounds like already by season 4, we will have another Resurgence map dropping, a brand new one. There was a leak last year, I think it was from Ghost of Hope, that had said supposedly Treyarch was designing a small map to drop this year. Possibly. It was an odd studio. It was like Treyarch or even like Raven or someone was developing a map.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 305. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, once again, I am joined by Tanner. How's it going, Tanner?
Hey.
And I need to stop. I think that's run its course. That voice. But anyway, welcome to the show.
I think that one's done for.
You got a long sleeve shirt on and shorts. That's an interesting combo you're working with there. Tell us about that combo. Are you hot or are you cold?
Imagine being a man and wearing pants.
What?
Pants are for pussies.
And wearing shorts.
Pants are for pussies.
Pants are for adults.
Nope.
Shorts are for boys, schoolboys, little private school boys like you.
Well, if you have shit little legs, I would hide mine too, but you know.
Oh, I have great legs. Fantastic. Some say the best legs. Anyway, welcome to the show. Today,
no one said that ever, actually.
We're not talking about my beautiful legs. We are talking about Call of Duty. So we're doing a news podcast today. We're doing it a day early once again for a good reason. I don't remember what the reason is, but it was a good one. Do you remember what the reason was?
For what?
Why we're doing this on a Wednesday?
Because we're doing the other one on a Friday because I have a wedding to attend on Saturday.
That's right, yeah. So we just wanted to space things out a little differently. So anyway, welcome to the show. Regardless, this week that shouldn't be an issue because, we got burned by doing a Wednesday podcast last week or 2 weeks ago, but we have a new season now, so there's not going to be any big thing we miss by doing this a day earlier than we normally do. So, nonetheless, welcome to the program. And we do have a couple of things to talk about in the wake of Season 2. We have some hidden patch notes, as always. And we also have a couple other little hot fixes they've done and adjustments they have made to the game that are going to be pretty interesting to get into, particularly some of these things I'm excited to talk about. But first, just a few announcements. Welcome, first of all, to our new gold patrons, Elijah and Thomas D. Absolute Kings. Welcome, boys. More importantly, we got a new platinum patron, Daniel J. An absolute god. Welcome, Danny boy, to the Patreon. Much appreciated. And most importantly, we got a brand new patron, a Damascus, annual Damascus patron, Corey fucking C, dude. Let's absolutely go. Young man.
I feel like we already thanked him last week.
It's possible, but
because I recognize that name because I had the same thought last week, but you're not saying the last name. Of course, but that's a solid last name.
It is a solid last name.
That's a chatty last name for sure.
According to our notes, it was a different person with the same last name. That's why. Go look in internal. That's funny.
No way.
Yeah, that's why.
Was his fucking brother?
I don't know. So we have not thanked this person yet, and now we are.
Oh, it is.
Thank
yeah.
you,
What
Corey.
The hell?
Going straight to annual Damascus. Very much appreciated. All of you guys, thank you very much. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 5 bonus eps a month, early access, ad-free eps, all that good shit. More stuff too. Check out the website, patreon.com/thedropshot. Welcome, boys. Much appreciated. Also, got some new YouTube members. Aussie Boy rejoining 3 months in a row as a friend of the pod. Lord Byron, Marcus, and young Miss Leia, Praying Mantis Princess, our new YouTube members this week. Thank you very much, boys and girl, for that. Much appreciated. Very kind of you. Now, on the topic of the Patreon, we've still got a couple eps to get through this month. We have a busy week this week where we're going to be cranking all those suckers out. We've been playing a lot of Season 2 in preparation, in fact, for just this occasion. And because we're having fun. That's mainly why. But also to, of course, do these Patreon episodes. We just released this morning our behind-the-scenes Patreon episode for our Damascus patrons. And it was an episode. Parts of it were pretty interesting. We talked about our thoughts on a Dropshot community tournament coming up at time. We spent a fair deal of time discussing that, and we're already getting some feedback on that, so thank you guys. And we would like more. So if you are a Damascus patron, that episode is live. We talked about some other things as well, but I think that's certainly what's getting the most feedback and discourse right now, at least in the Discord. What were your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, that and COD being fun again, too, were the big ones.
Yeah.
COD's pretty fun right now, man. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's interesting
fun.
Wanting to play the game pretty often, you know?
It feels good. Yeah.
I like when that happens. Yeah,
feels
for sure.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm pretty mad I'm going to have to get this up today because I won't be able to play after the pod.
Oh, have fun. Yeah. Have fun getting that up today.
I won't. Yeah. But, well, hey. I have a job, so I am.
Yeah, some of these people wouldn't understand, huh?
They wouldn't understand. #grind set.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, married to the grind, obviously. But yeah, that behind the scenes episode is live for you Damascus patrons. And then here is what is coming up next for all of our patrons. Here are the next 3 bonus episodes for this month, which will be coming very soon, obviously. We're going to do a ranked play first impressions episode. And we also plan on doing a more in-depth ranked play episode next month. I don't know if we're going to do that as a Saturday episode or as a Patreon episode, but it's definitely going to be one of those two because we want to give ranked play a really fair shake before we do like an in-depth, review / discussion on it. But in the meantime, we're going to play as much ranked as we can this month and do kind of like a first impressions episode on it for Patreon, for all of our patrons. I am seeing some pretty bad things about ranked play on Twitter, despite everything on paper looking really good. So I'm very curious to try it myself, and we will let you guys know what our impressions of it were.
What are you seeing that's bad? All I see is the cheating issue.
The cheating issue?
That's the thing I pretty much strictly see.
I saw another couple people, maybe it was just one, but I think it was multiple people saying the server stability isn't very good. And some guy was like, the higher your rank, like the shittier the servers get.
That's weird.
Which would be weird, but I wouldn't be that surprised.
I mean, the servers have been trashed since Caldera. The servers have actually been miserable since like June of last year. Remember how suddenly Caldera, the servers just got awful? You always had high ping. West Coast servers didn't exist. You'd get stuttering and lagging. That's how Warzone, that's how Al Mazrah launched. That's how it still is. And that's how multiplayer seems to be too. It's like they've had some massive server issues.
Servers are pretty good, honestly.
Better than the Warzone ones in general, for sure. Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, I haven't seen anything about the server. I just keep seeing it's like riddled with cheaters, like really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like almost to the point it doesn't even seem like there's an anti-cheat, like people just running around spin botting the lobby actually.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to play it ourselves and see what our experience is. Obviously you're going to see more of that at the higher brackets because cheaters are going to win a lot. But I do wonder how much of it is people actually cheating and how much of it is cope. Because a lot of these people are probably saying, oh, there's a bunch of cheaters in ranked play because they got beamed or they think the guy's walling even though he wasn't, or something, you know?
I've seen like a lot of CDL players even tweeting about how many cheaters they run in, like
I feel
actual
like
CDL
pros
pros
would be
that
the
are on
most
teams.
likely to cope and call
No,
sheets.
like real CDL players. I don't think so. I mean, I've seen some clips and it's like people just like actually like full on aimbotting, like not trying to
that's obvious.
even hide it. And then the guy that hit number 1 first, I think already got banned for walling. Or something like that. Something happened with him. I should try to find that. Or did we talk about that last week? I don't remember.
It might be in our notes today. I don't know. But either way, we're going to be doing a Patreon episode on that for all of our patrons once again this month. We've also got a Warzone brainstorm we're going to be doing soon. That one is going to be really interesting because there is a lot of new shit to talk about. This is going to be the most full brainstorm on Warzone 2 we've ever done, at least in my opinion. Like, the difference between Warzone 1 and Warzone 2 was like almost less. It wasn't, but it feels kind of that way, than the difference between Season 1 and Season 2 of Warzone 2. Like, so much has changed, and we've been trying so much different shit. I am very curious to get into a brainstorm and talk about what to run and stuff. And I have a lot of open questions, which is exactly what the brainstorm format is for. I'm very excited about doing this episode, like more than I have been for Warzone 2 and Warzone 1 in a long time. Like, I think this is going to be one of the most productive brainstorms we've ever had, because I don't know what perks exactly I should be running, and I want to talk about what we should be doing maybe instead of not. For example, cold-blooded. Is it possible it's worth it? Because everyone runs high alert, and a couple people run ghost, I guess. I don't know. We got to get into that. We got to sink our teeth into that. What attachments are we using? Are high velocity rounds really necessary? I'm starting to backtrack on that a little bit, but I don't know.
That one's insane. Yeah.
There is a lot to get into, and there's way more than that also. So that's going to be another bonus episode for all of our patrons this month that I'm really excited to do. I think we're recording that tomorrow, in fact. Maybe not. I don't know. And then last Patreon episode we have on planned for February, again for all patrons, is going to be Season 2 general second impressions. We played more multiplayer. We played a lot more Warzone. We've played more Ashika Island as well. So we're just going to talk more about the season as a whole. And there's definitely new things to say. And there have been new changes made that have improved the game a bit, which we're going to talk about through the course of this episode, obviously. So that's going to be a good one, too. I'd also like to remind you guys, or to tell you guys, rather, we do plan on doing an Ashika Island, like, proper-ass episode next month. Because I think we were thinking about doing a bonus episode on Ashika Island, but then Tanner said we should just do it on a Saturday, and I agreed with him. I think that's a much better idea. And I don't think it's going to be first impressions. I think it's just going to be like a review. And I think that's going to be really good too, because we've played quite a bit more, and we will continue to up until that episode comes out. But we want to talk a lot more about Ashika Island. There's a lot more to be said.
Yeah, and it's not like, it won't be, I don't think, real in depth, because we've still played more Al Mazrah, because that's what we find a lot more fun, especially the current state of Al Mazrah right now. Pretty solid. But you know, it'll be more similar to like impressions on what we think on the map, general like early review of everything. It's also kind of hard to gauge it when we've only had one squad size in it. We've only seen quads. It'd be nice to have like trios or something to hear about it. So it's going to be, I think, very early thoughts on the map, because I mean, we've had it for a week, but we will at some point do a more in-depth review like we've done with like Fortune's Keep and Rebirth as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we have a lot of really good Patreon episodes this month. I'm really fucking excited. And this is exactly what we expected, and this is why we saved our gold episodes for the end of the month, because we wanted Season 2 to happen first. And I'm super glad we did, because especially that Warzone Brainstorm, I am profoundly excited to record that, because I'm going to learn some things too, as those of you who have listened have no doubt noticed by now. And like smoke grenades too. There's like a really good discussion to have about smoke grenades. So anyway, we'll get into that. Those will be all up before February's out, obviously. Other than that, I don't think we have any other announcements.
No, I think we're good.
All right. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
There it absolutely is, man.
Boys and girls, welcome to the Dropshot episode 305. First, we got a patch on the 17th of February. This was just a few days after, of course, season 2. So we're going to go into this. I'm pretty sure this is a small patch. It was. And
yeah, there were just a few things on here that were worth talking about.
Yeah, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but I think there were just a couple of little things. Go ahead.
I think it was mostly the gameplay adjustments. So they did confirm that there's a change. So Semtex and drill charges will now down a player with maximum armor plates if you stuck it directly to their body. Beforehand, I guess it was not doing that. So Semtex and drill, a stick is a down.
Which is a good change.
Which is a great change, yeah. And then throwing knives will now down a max armored player if it hits them in the head or upper torso. So that makes those a little more viable because a lot of sweats like running those to finish people quickly as well. So that's interesting.
I think that's probably a good change too, by the way. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think if you get headshotted with a fucking throwing knife, you deserve to die. Yeah. I don't run throwing knives, but I think this is probably fine. Because otherwise, throwing knives, like even with this change, I don't think they're like worth running in Al Mazrah at all.
Yeah,
but this is very interesting. I think the implications for Ashika are way more interesting. Because I'd be way more likely to run throwing knives on Ashika than Al Mazrah, and this makes them even more attractive. So there's something to talk about there, and we'll get into that when we do that Ashika episode, no doubt. But yeah, those were a couple changes there. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, then a bunch of bug fixes, nothing real crazy. So yeah, so nothing crazy there, but just thought we would talk about those things.
And yeah, a couple of bug fixes we're not going to get into right now. So now we also got a couple of tweets from various development studios. Raven tweeted this last night. Search and seizure contracts are now live on Ashika Island, which I am very surprised by. I thought all of this shit was going to come in Season 2 Reloaded, but they're live a fucking week after the patch, which I guess is fine. But search and seizure contracts are the new contract type, for those of you who don't remember, where you pick it up and then you go... some car is marked, and then a bunch of AI will apparate next to the car, and then you will have to take the car... kill the AI, take the car to some place, and then you complete the contract. You search and seize the car.
Yep. This is our first look at AI on Ashika Island, unfortunately. Again,
correct.
We're still seeing AI. I saw I think Lucci did a poll this morning. He was like, how many of you want AI on Ashika Island? When I looked, it was like 500 plus votes, and it was like 97% of people were no AI. We should not have any AI at all. It's so crazy. They're doing this at all in any way still. God, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that means the redeploys may come earlier. I guess that's our fault for assuming that when they said in season, that meant mid season. So we may even see the redeploy drones come like next week or something. Who knows?
You're right.
Because they didn't ever say mid season. It was just all in season. It's probably they're adding things on probably based on how well like the servers are doing and everything. If the game's having a bunch of issues, they're gonna probably add a little thing in at a time, which is good actually. I'm glad they don't just all do it in one update and then have a million things to fix. So
yeah,
cool. This also, by the way, I don't know if we knew this, but drive the stolen vehicle to the designated drop-off location, but be prepared to evade, retaliate, retaliatory. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah.
Retaliatory. That's a weird word. I don't like that word. Airstrikes. So the AI is now airstriking you, it sounds like.
And that's going to do damage to other players, almost certainly.
Seriously, whoever keeps adding this AI shit into Warzone, you need to not have a job.
I have a spicy little nugget at the end of this section that we're going to talk about too. I just added it, Tanner. Yeah, you see, look at that tweet.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I also saw that.
Talk about it. I don't know if it's true. It's probably not, but we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, those contracts are now live. We have not. I played Ashika yesterday, but not today, so I don't know what this contract entails. We will no doubt get more into it, but as I said when we talked about Season 2 and learned about these aren't good for the game. They're bad for the game. So Ashika's now worse than it was prior to these contracts existing. There's no world where this adds to the gameplay experience. No. Some things on paper you can be like, I'm not sure if that's good or not. I have to play to like find out. This is not one of those things. This I know it makes the map worse.
Yeah, and it's going to hit the performance on the map, everything.
Yeah,
yep.
It's all bad. So cool.
You can tell it's bad when Raven also then ends up replying to the tweet and says, enemy AI combatants only spawn during a search and seizure contract and the upcoming data heist public event. Because obviously, when we screenshotted that tweet had like 428 likes. It had almost 200 comments. So you know when they have that many comments compared to the like ratio, you know it's all going to be like, why are we getting AI? So AI, why? And that's why they're responding to it, being like, they're not always on the map. They only come in during this because they know, obviously, people don't like them and they continue doing this.
Correct. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So that's really sweet. Cool and
Have
fun and exciting for sure. Yeah. But there you go. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So there you go. Another tweet last night from Call of Duty official Twitter account. Each of the 4 squad sizes for Resurgence will be in the playlist rotation at some point throughout Season 2. Solos arrives this weekend. So people, rightfully, have been malding that we only have quads right now for Ashika Island Resurgence. And they said, they made the point effectively of, why the fuck would you add only quads to Ashika Island, your new map? That makes no sense. Especially when you have all 4 modes for Al Mazrah, which is not new. If anything, it should be the opposite. Or also, have every playlist for both. Duh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Crossplay, 7 different fucking platforms can play on your game, and you're dropping a brand new update. There's enough players. Like, put them all in. It's dumb that it's not. But now they're saying, oh, well, this is the worst, by the way, solution to all of this angst. Obviously, we knew there were going to be different squad sizes at some point on Ashika Island. This isn't anything new. So they're just doubling down effectively on saying, oh, we're going to add solos and then take out quads, so then you can only play solos on Ashika Island. I don't know why they do this. Now, they didn't confirm that. Maybe it will be solos and quads. Maybe not, though. But even if it is, also, why, though? Like, why not add duos and trios? It's insane.
Well, that's...
And I hate it. And I hate
Well, that's why everyone's mad, because before Ashika dropped like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, even I think it was maybe the end of January, they tweeted something out about Ashika Island and they said all squad sizes on launch. So they literally said in their own tweet, solos, hilarious. Duos, trios, quads will be live on launch. And then that's why that tweet says correction, because everyone kept tweeting and adding them like, hey, remember this? You guys tweeted this out. Where the fuck are all the squad sizes? Because it sounds like everyone's already complaining about quads. I can never keep track of the Resurgent shit, because I swear to God, didn't all of them like quads the most? Didn't they all hate solos and said it was the worst game mode, and they all loved quads because they like to 1v4 and 2? I can't keep track, and now it's sounding like they all hate quads and they want solos. I'm like, what? I can't keep up with what they're bitching about. Man. I don't know.
I don't know. But it's Call of Duty's fault, though, to be clear.
Oh, rightfully so. People should be mad because they did tweet out, that every mode would be live. So there we go. And you're exactly right. The fact that they're rotating these is a joke. You hyped up this mode, you add this mode in, and there's one playlist for it. Wow.
When the player base for it will never be larger than at launch also. Like, if they ever do add all the playlist sizes for Ashika, it'll be at a time when there are fewer people playing Ashika than at launch.
Exactly,
so it's just, it makes no goddamn sense. But whatever, just Call of Duty things. So cool.
Yeah, but because there are people now that want to play duos and they have one other buddy, and they were forced to either queue with two and they're not very good, or they were queuing with randoms and losing every game for a day straight, and they're like, all right, well, I don't like this map. This map fucking sucks, and they're gonna blame it on that because they weren't able to actually play the mode that they wanted to play. So great job, Call of Duty, continuing to kill off your own game as soon as you launch something, because you can't ever use a single brain cell, it seems. So yeah, that was smart. I mean, they obviously have the player base. Why do we not get all the modes? Yeah,
it's very weird that they don't do that. I don't understand. Like, I actually just don't get it at all, but whatever. Anyway, moving on. On a better note, Raven also tweeted last night, a minor Warzone 2 update has gone live to increase the number of armor plates found via ground loot across Ashika Island. So yesterday I was playing Ashika Island, found probably 2 plates in like 8 hours. And then on my first game of Al Mazrah, we dropped Satik Cave Complex.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. I went into a single fucking room and there were 7 plates in one room.
A shack. It was a shack in Satik Cave. That's like a one little bedroom shack.
Yeah, it's like a little studio apartment. Yeah. And there were 7 armor plates.
Yeah. And they're always like stacked up on that there's like a thing on the wall. There's like not a dresser. It's just there's just like shelves on the wall, and every single one of those shelves usually has 3 or 4 plates on it, and like ammo. Yeah.
There were literally 7 in total in that entire shack.
And I think we said that, like, wow, we looted one room on Al Mazrah and got more plates than we all got combined in that last game we just played of Assfucker Island. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they got that a little backwards. So anyway,
they did. That should make it a lot better.
That should hopefully I actually believe in Raven. So if they said they added armor plates, they probably did. So that's good. And that was like the first thing they should have done, which it seems like it kind of was. So that's kudos to them. But I can't believe there weren't plates on launch. By the way, they don't play test the game. Just to remind you guys, because you would have only needed to have played Ashika one time before launch to figure out there weren't enough plates on the map. Like, you need to play it exactly one time. And you say, oh, okay, we need to add more plates real quick before we like launch it. But they don't test the game. There's no QA team. The QA team is a psyop. Those people are embezzling money from Activision Studios. It's just that simple. There's no QA team. I mean, it's not like there are a little bit too few plates. Like, there are far too few plates. But now they've added some, so that's good, I guess.
Yeah,
so there you go.
There were no plates, It
was fucking a joke. So anyway, High Moon Studios also has activated some new Easter eggs in Ashika Island. This was tweeted today by Charlie Intel. But High Moon did it last night. High Moon Studios has activated some new Easter eggs in the island last night. I don't know what this means. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I
don't care till someone else figures it out.
Yeah. And I don't care. Best case scenario, this is one of those things where you get the vault fucking key card, whatever, you go into the room and then you can unlock like a weapon blueprint. That would be cool. I never did that stuff, to be clear. And it's not the way you play to win the game. But I still like when they add things like that. I think it's cool. I don't think it detracts from the game. Now, they have made the mistake before, also, of adding things like that to Rebirth Island, where inside the bunker, there is a juggernaut. Well, that's not good. Because now you are fucking my game, so don't do that. Or they're adding specialist tokens. That's not good either. Let's not add that. But if you want to add a weapon blueprint or like a lot of money, cool. That would be cool. We will see what this Easter egg entails. Maybe it's not even anything remotely close to what I just described. I don't know. But that Easter egg is up. And if this was done last night, then I'm sure there's someone on YouTube's already figured it out. So you guys can go look into that. But not going to be very impactful for the majority of your games. And now quickly on to multiplayer on that front. The ISO Hemlock is now restricted in ranked play. So if you were using that in ranked play, you can't anymore. And this was probably for the best. That's fine. So there you go.
Yeah, pretty busted in there, I guess. It was killing faster than the Vaznov, which is the SMG they all run at a SMG range. So yeah,
yeah, cool. Yeah. So anyway, this last note here. This is a tweet from one of my, not my least favorite leaker, but one of them, the Ghost of Hope. And this is a leak that I actually believe, so I want to talk about it. And this is a quote tweet that he tweeted yesterday. And he's quote tweeting Raven Software. Raven Software had tweeted, as we talked about, enemy AI combatants only spawn during a search and seizure contract and the upcoming data heist public event, referring to Ashika Island. So Ghost of Hope quote tweeted this yesterday and said, quote, I'm not going to name names, but there's a specific head dev at Infinity Ward who really keeps pushing for AI to be involved in this game outside of DMZ, and I'm really tired of it. And that surprised no one.
Yeah, no, this isn't even a leak. I mean, obviously, because AI are still in the game.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted Joe Sika, and he said, no, not him. So I wonder who, really? I mean, who are like, I think there are 3 that are in charge. It's the old Patrick O'Kelly.
Oh,
Patrick O'Kellyhan.
That fucking
Joseph Apricot. And then who else? I think there's another guy.
I'm Googling it right now because I'm very curious.
Some
One
other
of them is
cocksucker.
Pat Kelly, right?
Patrick Kelly, who at one point was a friend of the pod. Not anymore because it's probably him, yeah.
Well,
he's probably the old.
Because he came out with the that up close gunfight thing, right?
He was the aim assist thing, yeah. That said, statistically speaking, whatever, the average person on a controller outguns the average K-BAM player like every single time.
I think he was also the guy that said there's no SBMM in large scale game modes.
Yes, he was.
So yeah. I'm pretty sure he's always been an enemy of the pod.
He was a friend of the pod for a short period of time when he said the aim assist thing, and then everyone he's the lead developer, right? And then random kids on Twitter still complained about that statement when they quite literally they have the stats of gunfights of who's winning gunfights. They can see the stats. All he was probably basing it off of is the fucking numbers they see, saying that the average controller player outguns the average K-BAM player up close always. But yeah, kids still argue with that. But anyways, yeah, it's probably that cocksucker.
It could be. Yeah, I have a list of major employees. We have Steve Ackrich, the CEO. It's not him. Candace Capon, the production coordinator. That's a fake job. I don't know what that person does, but it's probably not her. Scott Carpenter. Sounds familiar. Lead multiplayer level designer. Could be that guy. Could be that son of a bitch. My vote was for Joe Apricot, the co-design director.
What is his name? Who was the one guy you said?
Scott Carpenter. Could be him. But there are a lot of names here I've never heard of. Like Mike Denny is the lead game designer. Again, fake job. I don't know what that person does. What does that mean?
Yeah,
lead game designer? What do you do? But anyway, yeah, like it could be a lot of these people, actually.
He leads the game design.
He leads the game being designed. Yeah, well, anyway. Madison Cromwell, Simon.
Oh, Madison Cromwell.
Yeah. There's a lot
of cocksuckers over there, huh?
A lot of potential culprits, but this is exactly what we have been saying, is that, yeah, obviously someone desperately wants AI to be in this game because they're not good for the game, but they insist on shoving it down our throats. And no one wants them, and they know that, but they add them anyway.
And the person has to be way up there if they're the ones that want this and it's still getting through. That's what makes me think it's someone like Pat Kelly who's like way up there.
Yeah.
Because, there's probably a few people that make decisions. So even if Joe Apricot doesn't want it, if some other guy's like, we're going to try it, we're going to do it anyways in these ways, then he'll be like, okay, all right, whatever, we'll try it.
Yeah.
Shit like that. So,
and
yeah.
this is just this person, whoever it is, if they do exist. So whether Ghost of Hope's leak is correct is, if he's correct by accident or if the leak is actually true, it doesn't matter, because it's obvious, like Tanner said, it's obviously true. Some dev with a ton of pull obviously wants AI to be in the game, despite the players not wanting it. This is, again, an example of the hubris of these developers that think they know what players will like more than the players do. So the players are resoundingly saying, take the AI out of Warzone. And they know that by now, for sure. They see all the data. They see all of the feedback. And all of it, almost unanimously, is that they don't want AI in Warzone. But the devs insist that if they do it well enough, and if they continue to add it, players will actually enjoy it more than it not being there, even though the players are saying they don't want it. That's the arrogance they have. And they're wrong, obviously, but that's what's going on here. They're not taking... They don't think the player knows what is actually best for them. And sometimes they're right about that, but a lot of times they're not. And this is certainly one of the cases where they are in fact wrong about what is best for the player. AI is not one of them. So don't expect this to change anytime soon, by the way, which is what we said on launch of Warzone 2. Or before launch, actually. Yeah,
really unfortunate. And going back to the AI on Ashika Island thing, someone in chat did just say, I died to an AI on Ashika today, so that's cool. Got shot in the back when I was fighting another team. And he claims he was not doing the contract. So, of course, they do aggro to other teams, because it wouldn't make sense if they didn't aggro. So this is what I think you had said when they announced this contract, is it's like, okay, cool, they act like it's a contract for that team, but the thing is that AI is on the map, and the AI is not going to not shoot other people, because those people will shoot the AI and kill them, and they can. So, of course, the AI is going to shoot back. So that does affect everyone on the map, even though they try to make it sound like, oh, it's for the one specific squad that picks up the contract. They have to go hunt down the AI. But no, that's affecting everyone. And the other thing you had said was if there's a team fighting in that area where this spawns, AI is just going to magically appear where they are and fuck up their gunfight. So again, in no way ever in any scenario is this a good idea to add to the game, yet they continue to do it. And there's already been a bunch of pushback on Twitter, people whining about this. Why are we doing this already? This is just insane. So
here's one little sliver of silver lining. This might be cope. It's certainly possible. But we've been saying that AI on Al Mazrah, for example, in the form of strongholds, no matter how much pushback they get, that's never going to change. I stand by that assertion. There will never not be strongholds in Warzone 2. Maybe if they release a new map, they won't do strongholds again. Maybe. But on Al Mazrah, there will never not be strongholds with AI in them. That's never going to change, no matter how mad people get, no matter how much they voice that opinion. It's never happening. IDub has invested too much to ever take that back. They're not going to. However, on Ashika, I could see them rolling back some AI changes. I think the development time and resources and the sunk cost is a lot less in the form of this contract and the Data Heist public event. And I think this, unlike Strongholds, because they haven't put nearly as much time or effort or work into it as they did Strongholds, might be willing to pull the reins back on and take the AI out or make them less prominent or something. Now, I'm not saying that's likely. I don't think it's likely. But unlike Al Mazrah Strongholds, I do think it's at least possible that if there's enough negative reception, they will reduce or remove entirely the AI specifically on Ashika Island. What do you think?
Yeah, well, and it's a lot easier to remove it in this way because it's, because Because all they have to do is we've removed this contract from Ashika Island. Will we investigate ways to change it or something? It's that simple. Whereas they can't just remove strongholds because that removes a way to get your loadout. They would have to entirely alter how strongholds operate and how they want to do those buildings, if they're still on a timer, if they have extra loot. They'd have to go through so many things to roll that back, which is why, like you said, it probably will never happen. I still do think we will get many more changes to the way strongholds operate in Al Mazrah. Don't know what that'll be. But I think always, to some extent, we will have some sort of AI on Al Mazrah. Hopefully they get rid of like how they keep coming back, and they give, like we've talked about, give the second team a different way to earn their loadout through that, instead of having to fight AI or something, just so we're not killing our frames having AI constantly spawning into the map until the 5th circle. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of frames. No one wants that. But yeah, this is just easy. Okay, we've removed this contract from Ashika Island. It's that simple. And then boom, AI is gone suddenly. Yeah. So they may have honestly actually planned it that way to kind of see how it plays maybe, and they know that's an easier way to remove it if there's really that much pushback against this. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I wish they had that thought process with the strongholds on Al Mazrah. I wish one guy that had play tested it ever realized that having AI on the BR wasn't a good idea, but yeah.
It's so funny too, because like we joke that they don't playtest their game and that's why they do all this dumb shit. But also, you don't even need to playtest strongholds to know they're a bad idea. That's what makes me the most mad. Is like, even if you guys don't playtest the game, which you obviously don't, you still should have known better than doing strongholds. Yep. Like, it didn't even require playtesters to know that it's bad. So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, shout out to whoever that head dev is. And
go fuck yourself,
yeah, you should be unemployed at a bare minimum. So, anyway, now moving on to news and upcoming changes / hidden patch notes.
We got
a lot more little details here, Tanner. Tell us about all this. Breaking news, Manscaped is now selling beard products. They've gone from waist to face to help you replace that bulky razor with their brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Manscaped helps you get the golden rod of a Greek god, and now they've created the best tools for you to turn heads with a clean, perfectly groomed, and conditioned beard. Finally tame your mane by going to manscaped.com and using our code DROPSHOT for 20% off plus free shipping. This kit is going to change your life. It's made it easier than ever to craft your signature look. This kit will take your facial hair anywhere from Gandalf to totally bare. It all starts, of course, with the Beard Hedger, which is a juggernaut of fixing faces. It's waterproof, it's cordless, it has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. It just raises and lowers the metal cutter underneath, so you don't have to use a bunch of guards. It's really convenient and really cool. No more drawers full of 20 different guards. It's fantastic. It's never been easier to get your signature beard look with 20 lengths, which is a ton. And it has a titanium-coated T-blade, tough on hair, smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. It's much more than a trimmer, though. It also comes with 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. The Pro Kit comes with first the beard shampoo and conditioner. All your hair is different, and the beard hair is much more coarse and easier to damage. That's why the kit has shampoo and conditioner specially designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, and replenish your natural oils. Next, it has the beard oil. It's nutrient infused, relieves dryness both on the beard and the skin beneath, and adds a little bit of shimmer and shine. And cap it off with the beard balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, and moisturizes. It also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. Once again, 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use our code DROPSHOT. The Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the premier solution to face grooming.
So we got some fun little ones here. I linked the images for you if you want to pull these up so it's easier to see and talk about. So True Game Data put out a video on the Season 2 weapon balancing update, talks about what they said they changed in the patch notes, what they actually changed. So to start with, I'm just going to tell you real quick. So the M13, they claim they buffed. Increased damage at mid-range, technically they did, and increased upper torso damage, right?
That's what they
Here's
said,
what actually happened. It was nerfed. They nerfed the M13. It kills faster now.
Really?
Between 31 and 40 meters. So they did increase the mid damage range. Every other range now it kills slower, as you can see from that chart there. Yeah. So he has linked the Season 1 M13, and then the red is the Season 2. So it kills slower at pretty much all ranges except for one small range. Why? Gun was unused and terrible. Yeah. And they made it even worse when they said they buffed it.
Yep. Yeah. And I
so that's just classic Infinity Ward things. Yeah, a bunch of people were using it day one. Jake was using it the day Ashika dropped. I even tried it. I don't think I ever got my loadout, but I set a loadout up for it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So really great stuff there. Wonderful developers as usual. They do the opposite of what they said they did. Yeah. It's not that much worse. It's like the time to kill got like 50 meters per second slower. Not a big difference. Yeah. But I mean, still, I can't believe it.
It's really bad though when you say it got better and it in fact got worse. Yeah,
in fact got worse.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Moving on next to the Kastov 7.62. So this gun was actually nerfed really hard, especially at range. So this kills at 60 plus meters, which happens to a lot of gunfights in Al Mazrah. You're at that distance quite a bit. It is pretty much 200 milliseconds slower time to kill at 60 plus meters. Yep. So I do still think this could be a solid option for Resurgence, but this is pretty much like the Kilo 2.0 now. Up to like 30 meters, it's killing at the same exact speed. Then there's a pretty sharp drop off. So up close, still going to feel the same, but anything like pretty much once you get like 40 meters and up, it's going to feel a lot
unusable and dog shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has like over 1,000 millisecond time to kill at 75 meters. Was there anything in
the patch notes about this?
Yeah, they said they nerfed it. Okay. That was in the patch notes.
Got it. Yeah, so they really fucked it. Yeah.
Yep.
Did they say they added an extra damage range?
I think they did, because I think that's what we had said in the patch notes. There was only one gun they
said that about. I guess it was this one then. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hold on, let me find it. Added additional long-range damage fall off. Yep, you sure did add that.
By the way, this would have been sufficiently nerfed without that. Like, if this line just kept going up at the same rate, that would have been like that even might have been too much of a nerf, but it would have been
that would still 100 milliseconds slower.
Yeah. This was totally unnecessary, and that gun is unusable on Al Mazrah now.
Yeah, if you play Al Mazrah at all, or DMZ even, and take fights at long range, which is probably most DMZ fights, Kastov 7.62 was pretty much destroyed at those engagement distances. So that sucks. Moving on here. The Tactical Victor. The
Tactical Victor, huh?
Absolutely fucking gutted. Why? Don't know. It was similar to something like an EM2. It had high damage, high recoil, difficult weapon to use. That's why you didn't see it often. And they absolutely gutted it. Time to kill is the same up until about 20 meters, which is fast. After that, they just killed it entirely. Yeah. I mean, it's just so crazy that they increased the time to kill at 60 meters. It's like it's more than 100 millisecond time to kill slower now. That gun was so hard to use past 60 meters. Again, what are we doing? And then look at this 40 look at this 40 meter range. It goes from less than a 600 millisecond time to kill to 800 on a gun that was underused because it was difficult to use. I mean, holy shit, what are we doing? So far most of these changes have been absolutely miserable.
Oh, and also, if you guys haven't noticed, there is an extra damage range drop off, at least in this screenshot. Now, unless there was a third drop off or a second drop off at like 100 meters before, and they just pulled that in to 45, then they just added a damage range again and didn't mention it.
Yeah. So they said they decreased mid-range damage,
which they did,
and then decreased full auto headshot. They did some changes with the semi-auto on that one too, like semi-auto damage profiles, but no one's using the TAC-V to use semi-auto. So this was a really fun gun to use. I really enjoyed using the TAC-V early on, but I even stopped using it because it was difficult to run, and so many other guns kill faster and were easier. So now this gun's harder to use and kill slower still. Brain dead decisions again.
The RPK, the lines almost overlap, so we wouldn't be able to show you the difference. That's how
and we'll show it to you in a second here. Yeah. Moving on, the X13 autos. Let's see, what did they say? So they said they reduced damage while using akimbo. They increased lower body damage, increased close range damage, and then increased damage distances. But it's worse.
Is this chart for akimbo or is this chart for single?
I think it was for akimbo. I'm pretty sure it was akimbo.
Okay. Well, in that case,
that
just
would
lied. Or no.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Reduce damage while using akimbo.
No, this would be an accurate chart if this is an akimbo chart.
Yeah, so it's worse everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess the point here is just...
I'm confused though, because I didn't watch the whole video, but True Game Data was like, the time to kill is still really fast. These are still, a gun you could run for close range. But I'm like, they're like 250 milliseconds slower than they were. No, like 300
this doesn't
milliseconds.
Look usable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he said that. That's why I'm getting more confused now. Because these look fucking awful now.
At 5 meters, the TTK is like 700 milliseconds. Like,
and it used to be 400.
Yeah, that doesn't seem usable. Yeah, this seems completely
especially when they have
now.
insane spread. So yeah, X13s, I wouldn't use those anymore either. Yeah.
Yeah, those are out.
Moving on. So RPK, they did add more recoil. Doesn't really look that way, but they did supposedly. They gutted it, I'm sure, right? Like all damage ranges?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Pull up the image.
It's
And they only increase...
Insane.
It kills slower at 60 plus meters by about 100 milliseconds or so. Let's see. When you get there, it's about 100.
790 to 890.
Look at 70. It's at 800 and 900. So 100 millisecond time to kill difference at range.
That's
not
meters.
That big of a deal when you have a gun that's that easy to use.
Yeah. And a lot of engagements are inside of that 60 meter range too. So this was not like I just compare this to the magnitude of the TAC-V nerf, which is hard to use and no one was using it.
Yep.
And then look at this, which is the absolute meta gun that everyone's tired of being forced to use. And it's still totally usable. Now, this, by the way, in a vacuum, this is a sensible nerf. And if it's still too strong, you can nerf it more later. I would be fine with this nerf in a vacuum because we would say, okay, they're starting to change it. It's still not enough of a nerf. And they can nerf it a little more now that they've taken a small step. Great. Totally fine with that in a vacuum. But when you see this and compare it to every other nerf they did on guns no one is using anyway, well, now it's insane. Why are you guys gutting guns that no one uses and sensibly nerfing the one gun that everyone is using and will now continue to use because this is the only time you used your brain cells?
Yep.
So this is how, this is a Raven level weapon balance update where they try to nerf a gun that's meta and they don't quite go far enough. And Tanner and I used to always say, that's a good way to do weapon balance, especially when Raven did it, because they would do 2-3 weapon balances a week sometimes. And they would do small iterative steps until a good, really overpowered gun was still good, but it wasn't overpowered anymore. But it took like 3 tries to get there because they don't want to overstep. That's a sensible way to nerf guns. That's how it looks like they've handled the RPK. But I wish they would take that approach with every other gun, which they didn't. So yeah, I don't know what the thought process is here when you're doing weapon design or weapon balance rather. It doesn't make any sense. This is the last gun that shouldn't have been gutted. If you're going to gut any guns at all, which they did, start with this one. Don't gut any guns, but if you're going to, gut this one first.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that didn't get gutted. It's insane. It's completely insane.
If the RPK was destroyed, very few people would have cared. Like, everyone runs it because it was the best gun in most people's eyes. Like, the vast majority of the player base only ran the RPK. So if that was gutted and everyone had to use something different, people wouldn't miss this. They've been using the same gun for over like 3 months now. They don't care anymore.
Correct.
So this is just not enough. The lobbies are just full of RPKs. So yeah, it's just remember that at 70 meters, the much easier to use RPK with lower recoil, way more magazine size, kills still faster than attack V with a smaller mag, also dogshit mobility. You also have to build it for all recoil control and can't even afford to run an optic half the time because you have to build it for recoil control, or you can't use an extended mag because you have to build it for recoil control.
Exactly.
And that kills slower than the non-moving fast killing RPK. What are we doing?
Infinity Ward things, yeah.
So this has been a horrendous first weapon balancing update. And the last one, Fennec, gutted, right? No.
Yeah, here's the other one.
The Fennec time to kill changed between 18 and 24 meters. It got an increase of about 40 millisecond time to kill. Every other thing exactly the same. So if you got off the Fennec, don't worry, get back on it. It's exactly the same.
In
kills
the
just
vast
as fast.
majority of your gunfights, it will kill exactly the same as it used to. Yeah.
And hey,
this is wild.
You're not even using your Fennec. I'm not using my Fennec at like 23, 25 meters ever almost. I'm rushing a building and killing with it at 10 meters. So the time to kill difference is nothing.
And
so the fact
way,
that everyone for 4 months complained about how fast the up close time to kill was, and they don't fucking touch the damage profile at all within 10 meters. They don't play. They don't know what's going on with their own game. They really do not. They have no clue.
From 18 to 25 meters was not where the Fennec was a problem. It's just not. Because every time you're getting 1 frames by a Fennec, it's in a room inside of probably 12 meters, maybe 15. But the damage is all the exact same in that range. It's never been a problem from 18 to 22 meters. I'll take my chances at 18 meters at that point.
Yep.
But fucking, like you said, they just, Activision devs do not play their own game. I mean, how many times do we have to say it? Yeah. It's so obvious. So yeah, horrific balance update. And again, this Fennec change, even if Raven did it, I would say we could have been a little more ambitious, because this is out to lunch. But that RPK nerf, like, I think that's fine, and they should approach all their nerfs that way, where like maybe they don't do quite enough, but they can always nerf it more later. But why are we changing the 7.62 cast-off 7.62 and the M13 when you said you buffed it, by the way, and the TAC V in that way? And once again, the fact that they added a new damage range drop-off to the TAC V and didn't mention it is outrageous. Don't add an extra damage range drop-off, first of all. That's the laziest, most dogshit way to balance a gun and ensure it's never usable again in Warzone. And also, if you're going to, mention it, for sure. You should probably tell us. So, I told you guys, before MW2 came out, True Game Data, Sim.gg, and Exclusive Ace and JGod are back in business, because we are back to having to go to outside parties to get accurate patch notes. Most of this was not mentioned, or was just actually wrong in the patch notes. Classic Infinity Ward. Classic. And I told you so. So cool. Smile.
And I want to point something out. I found this tweet a long time ago. I followed some random dev who works at High Moon. He's a game designer at High Moon. I'm not telling you his Twitter name.
Okay.
But there was some like Reddit thread that was talking about time to kill, and it says, I think we all know that a sub 500 milliseconds time to kill makes for a horrible experience. This could have been a simple check balance for the devs, and yet here we are 3 years later with broken guns again. Hell, they could have rolled out a test build, the JGod, True Game Data, and others just to test guns, and they'd have it sorted out in a day and identified any outliers. I agree and disagree with that. There will always be a meta, but the meta revolves. This developer who works at High Moon this cocksucker retweeted this and he said, yeah, let's send a bill to YouTubers who just report on data and know nothing about balancing weapons. Sounds like a great idea. It'll all be fixed in a day.
No, what's his hat? Give me the
So
hat.
this guy's being a cocksucker saying, oh, you know nothing about balancing weapons. Your game's been out 4 fucking months. I know you don't work at Raven. You don't work in Infinity War. But the fact that you're even saying this and defending your own company is a fucking joke. And this just shows how out of touch some of these devs are. Absolutely out of touch. Literally, I would trust JGod and True Game Data and Exclusive Ace and Sim.gg over any of your fucking devs any day of the week when it comes to weapon balancing, because they literally test it. You put in your own goddamn patch notes. You buff the M13 and you quite literally nerfed it. Like, the fact that he pretends every dev, these guys are perfect and know what they're doing, and these guys who spend their life just testing the weapons to put out on YouTube don't know. Fucking incredible.
It's insane. That is the hottest take of all time that I've ever seen on Twitter.
Yep.
I can't believe that guy is serious.
Isn't it? Yeah. So.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that's
that
a
makes
fucking
me
insane one.
And that's the mentality.
But as a Call of Duty developer.
That's the mentality of a Call of Duty developer. I know better than you. I know how to weapon balance and you don't. I'm the person who's the genius in the room. I know how to do weapon balance. Don't tell me how to do weapon balance. That's the arrogance of the Call of Duty developers. And we are seeing it in action. We've been seeing it in action since we started this podcast. But now you get to see it in words, in plain English, where one of them, anyway, is just explicitly saying what we've been telling you, which is that these people think they know better what is good for their game or what needs to change with their game than the people who actually play the game, whom they are not. So, yeah, sadly, that's an unsurprising tweet to me. It still infuriates me, though. You're going to have to send me that Twitter account.
I'm just going to post it right now in Patreon chat if anyone wants to look at it. There we go.
Yeah, patreon.com/thedropshot. Don't fucking go. If you have a thing to reply to the tweet, you can do that, but don't harass the guy, obviously.
Yeah, but
not a good look for us. But if you want to say this is a dumb take, by all means, do that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and then you always hear the big COD partners that bitch about the game. Then they always come back and be like, well, guys, like, don't blame the devs. It's like the heads and like the high ups and the CEOs. It's like the classic, like, super left wing, like all the game devs are like, oh, like, blame the CEO. It's their fault. It's their fault. Hey, just to let you know, a lot of these actual COD developers that just work on the game are also fucking morons. Yeah. Obviously, they don't make the big overall decisions, but they also don't know what they're doing. I mean, just the fact that this cocksucker says this is, I couldn't believe when I saw this. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this earlier. This is from like 20 days ago, but I kind of forgot about it, and then I didn't want to just harass the guy. But now that they've put out a weapon balancing update and nothing has changed, I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, he probably knows there's probably a big weapon balance update coming, whatever. But now the fact that we got this joke of a weapon balance update and this guy's tweet is still up there, holy shit, out of touch.
Super out of touch.
Yeah. Again, he doesn't work in Infinity Ward or Raven. He works at High Moon. He's I think he designed a lot of the map. He posts about how he like worked on like the castle POI and shit.
Oh, the worst POI. Shocker.
But still, I mean,
the fact that you defend that he defends them is insane. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the rank and file devs, they're probably a mixed bag. Some of them probably think they're doing
like
God's
any place,
work. Yeah, of course. And then some of them are like, holy shit, Joe Apricot's a fucking moron. I can't believe I have to buff the RPK. This is so bad. But he's got to do it. So the devs, I think, are a mixed bag. But the people in charge of weapon balance, these people are irredeemable, and the people in charge of AI and Warzone, irredeemable.
Yes, exactly.
So anyway, so that's
so awful take as usual from another COD dev. Yeah,
shocker.
Moving on to the next one here, we have a video from Joseph God, J God.
Joseph God, huh?
One shot sniping is back in Warzone, kind of. So he has a video out about it. It's like 5 minutes long. The TLDR is MCPR and the Victus are the only two snipers that'll, quote, one shot down at any range. The other snipers can do it up to a certain distance. Yeah, so the way this works is you use the incendiary rounds, instead of high velocity or whatever, use a suppressor, use a barrel to get extra velocity, and you shoot someone in the head and you see the 3 plates cracked, and then half a second later, you'll get a down on that person because it is doing 249 damage to their head, and then that incendiary is doing that last tick at any range. As long as you hit a headshot at any range, that incendiary tick will do enough to down them. So it's like it's a one-shot down sniper.
Yes.
People are losing their mind about this, even though that same person has been using a no recoil, fast time to killing, skillless RPK, fully auto RPK for the last 3 months, and a Fennec or dual pistols that kill in 300 milliseconds. They're now complaining about the sniper. I was using it yesterday. We'll talk a lot more about it on our Patreon episodes. The velocity is dog shit. It is in fact dog shit. Sub 900.
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean,
especially
miserable.
On this map,
miserable.
That's really bad.
Yeah. But I was using it, and on paper, that sounds awful. I don't think I even would have tried this setup if I read that on paper, but I was doing okay with it. I was already learning how to lead targets. You have to lead them a lot. The thing is, though, that the bullet drop seems no different at all, meaning if some guy's standing still at 300 meters, and if his character happens to render in, they usually don't at 300 meters.
Yeah.
If I hit him in the head, I am getting a down, and you only have to aim about the same height that you would aim above their head with normal bullet velocity rounds.
So in other words, the bullet travels slow, but there isn't much drop.
Exactly. So it was easy enough to hit stationary targets, and it is definitely more difficult to hit moving targets at range. And I was missing a lot of them, but I was hitting some shots and surprising myself even, actually. So I had a ton of fun using this. I paired it with a AK-74U, a Kastov, whatever it's called in this game, a Kastov 70 cocksucker. I don't know, 74. I don't know. By the way, Kastov 74 is probably the most versatile gun in the game, I would argue. Probably the best overall gun in the game. I still think that in MW, it is the best overall gun. You can set up a lot of different ways. I was using that with the MCPR incendiary. It was so much fun. God, I had a blast using that setup. But yeah, so unfortunately, this will probably be nerfed. As much as I don't want it to, because this is the best way they can balance this, because not all the snipers do it. The Victus and MCPR, which are 2 heavy, large, long boy snipers, they are the ones that can do it. And sub 900 velocity. For those of you who don't know, what was a meta sniper on Caldera and Verdansk? Like 1600 meters per second velocity, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, for context, the Ram 7, a meta Ram 7 in Warzone 1 was like 1800 meters per second velocity.
Yeah, so this is
less than half of that.
And this still has less velocity than a lot of the ARs and LMGs have. Most of them, actually. When you're using high velocity rounds, a barrel and or suppressor, you're getting way more velocity than you can get with a sniper. Correct. So if you're bitching about this being overpowered, don't, because it's not that easy to use. If you think it's that broken, go use it on Almazar, see how well you do. It's pretty hard to use, and I think it takes a lot of skill to use, and that creates an interesting skill gap and a dynamic that I think we need in this game. So, of course, this will probably get nerfed this week. And I really hate that. And this really is, they could not touch anything now, and snipers would be in an okay place for me, I think. That would be solid.
I think I agree. Yeah. I think I would prefer that if there did exist snipers that could one-shot down, you didn't have to rely on the incendiary kind of cheesy little gimmick to do it. I would prefer, like, even keep the MCPR and the Victus the only guns that can one-shot headshot at any range, but don't have that be dependent on incendiary rounds. Have it instead be dependent on the type of gun it is, just like Caldera. I've said this before and I stand by it, but even if we had to keep it this way, I agree with you. I think sniping is balanced. And like, for context, I was playing hours and hours since this was the case, and since JGod made the video, and I encountered a lot of enemies using this setup, and I think I got down to one sniper actually landing a headshot. I was getting shot by these guys a fair amount, but they weren't hitting me in the head.
Exactly.
So I wasn't getting downed. So, like, the fact that, and these were demon lobbies too, by the way. So the fact that I wasn't getting my head ripped off every time I left cover is evidence, at least for me anecdotally. I could have gotten very lucky, but I doubt it, that it's pretty hard to use and it's not super overpowered. Let me put it this way. If the Warzone 1 Car 98 was in the game and it was a one-shot headshot down, I would have gotten sniped 10 times per match, every single match.
Oh, yeah.
So it's obviously way more difficult than when sniping was arguably too overpowered in Warzone 1. It's nowhere near that. It's a lot harder to use. Yeah. I was getting shot quite a few times, but they weren't hitting my head. They would hit my upper torso because they missed, which is what sniping should be. If you land a really nice shot, it should be a one shot down, but it should be hard to do that. That's how you balance it. Pretty simple.
Yep. Exactly.
And put it on the slow ass snipers. Yeah.
Yeah, I also saw a bunch of people using snipers, and I don't think I ever got one shot down to any of them. I got cracked quite a few times, but I guess they weren't using incendiary, or they were just hitting my chest or something. I didn't even get cracked quite a few times. There was like one guy I remember hit me a couple times, and I was fully plated. But yeah, I think this is an excellent way to have these balanced, and I don't want them to touch it. Unfortunately, they probably will, because a lot of people, I guess, are starting to use them on a Sheikah Island with a faster build, like an SPX, something like that, which you can ADS a lot quicker with, and they still have that one-shot distance up to, like, I don't know what it was. I don't even know if J God said 80, 90 meters. Yeah. Far enough, a solid enough distance for that small map. So
yeah. But yeah,
unfortunately,
like Tanner said, this will probably be nerfed. And honestly, again, I do want one-shot headshot sniping to be possible on a fully plated opponent at any range in Caldera. But, yeah, I got it. But I don't think this is the way to do it. I think incendiary, again, is cheesy. What I would do is, if I was a dev at Call of Duty, here's what I would do. I would remove incendiary ammo from all snipers, because why the fuck would you use that other than to do this? And then instead, I would make the big heavy ass snipers one-shot headshot capable down at any range in Warzone. And to compensate for that, you would maybe nerf their ADS speed more than it is now, nerf their sprint to fire more than it is now, nerf the idle sway tremendously so that you have to be holding breath. You can't build a no sway sniper. That would be a way to do it. And add a lot more bullet drop. So you can keep it high velocity, so the bullet can still travel at whatever, 1,800 meters per second, but it drops a lot also. So the bullet moves quickly, but you still have to lead, and you still have to account for that bullet drop. I think like starting there would be good. And then if only the MCPR Invictus could one-shot headshot with all of those nerfs to the guns as well, I think that would be balanced, and I think that would be way better than having to rely on the incendiary dumb shit. But what will happen is they're gonna nerf the incendiary capability, and then they're not gonna do anything else. It's just gonna not be possible to one-shot headshot again, which is dumb. It's really dumb, but that's what they're doing. So, and for context, by the way, if I'm at 5 meters and you're fully plated, and I shoot you in the head with a double barrel shotgun, that's a one shot down. But if I throw a 50 caliber sniper rifle round through your head at 5 meters in Warzone, if I don't have incendiary, that's not a one shot headshot down. I mean, what is that? How does that make any sense? At any range, they don't. It's just so crazy. So anyway, yeah, that is now the case. But next, we got a couple other little news items to talk about here. This is going to be a big Thomas J. Henderson dump. Insider-gaming.com. We use this resource a lot, or have been since he launched it, which I think was this year or last year, within the last 12 months. Tommy Boy Henderson, friend of the pod, and we will continue to use this resource a lot. And we are going to right now. We got a couple articles to cover. Tanner, tell us all about it, man.
Yeah, first one here. Call of Duty plans for 2023 leaked in an Activision breach, it is claimed. So this is from February 20th. So it says, moments ago, news service online suggesting that in December there was a data breach at Activision that saw sensitive documents revealed, including an alleged schedule that apparently highlights the entire year ahead for COD. In these documents, a calendar was uncovered showing dates for the season structure of the year ahead, as well as detailing dates for unknown project simply named Jupiter. It's not known what that is, but there's expectation that it's a premium content release coming in 2023 that everyone has been talking about. So yeah, he talks a little bit more about it here, what they're showing. I have some screenshots that I screenshotted that I will talk about. It makes it easier. Okay. These are directly from the calendar, I guess. I saw these leaked images online. So this is kind of going through season by season. So it claims season 3 says March 15th to May 15th. That's not true anymore because they delayed season 2. So season 3 is coming at a later date. But supposedly, we're getting typical 2 new operators, 3 new weapons, 3 core maps, 1 battle map, and here's the exciting one: 4 gunfights is what it says, meaning gunfight is supposed to be coming here in season 3. Another spec off, blah blah, another raid.
Right? And they said 4 maps.
No, that was based off this leak. They still haven't said anything. Well, did they end up saying that?
In this, yeah, they said.
They did say gunfight is coming. Yeah, they said gunfight is coming. I don't think they said
with 4 maps.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. So
so that's
that just implies that this leak is accurate because it comports with what is officially now confirmed, basically, is what I'm saying.
Oh, and something else to point out that some of you nerds may care about is 2 new operators. It says 1 licensed. I think that's usually the people like the Ronin operator, who's a real guy.
Probably.
Who was a season 1 operator? Again, don't remember, don't care. I don't give a shit about the operators, but things like Mara from MW19, that would be licensed. Something like Terminator would be licensed. So that's if they do any like collaborations with any movie character or something, that would fall under like the licensed one. So that's cool. But pretty typical season aside from the gunfight coming. 3 core maps is cool, and another battle map, which again will be just part of Al-Mazrah, I'm sure, unfortunately.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And then, moving on to season 4, pretty much same thing. 3 new guns, 2 core maps, 2 battle maps, 4 more gunfights maps coming in season 4, which is interesting.
And then each season is exactly 2 months also.
Yes. Yeah, back to the old 60 day that it should be.
Yeah.
And then season 4, 1 small map that is hinting at another Resurgence map. So it sounds like already by season 4, we will have another Resurgence map dropping, a brand new one. There was a leak last year, I think it was from Ghost to Hope, that had said supposedly I think it was Treyarch was designing a small map to drop this year. Possibly. It was an odd studio. It was like Treyarch or even like Raven or someone was developing a map. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think he had tweeted about it again yesterday or something.
And the reason we're saying that small map on this schedule implies a small Warzone map is because they explicitly say 2 core maps, which would be 6's maps, 2 battle maps, 4 gunfight maps. So what other types of map would a small map be if not one of those things?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why we're saying that.
Okay, so it was in October of last year. He had tweeted that it's Beanox and Toys for Bob are developing a Resurgence map for Warzone set to release in mid 2023.
Okay.
And that was released in October, so that sounds like that was a true leak. So
yeah,
so that's exciting. Already have a lot to look forward to. Honestly, ranked Warzone in season 3, gunfight coming back.
I wonder
we already have ranked multiplayer.
Mean. March 8th.
Where are the dollar signs at?
In yellow, in the yellow boxes. Is this supposed to be like million, 3 million, billion? I don't know.
Yeah, it goes 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5.
Or maybe their budget? $3 million? I don't know. It's curious. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's much. Literally season. That means season.
Oh, that's an S.
Because it's S3. Is it?
Yeah, it's an S. You're probably right. Yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is an S,
I
for
have it
sure.
really small on my screen. Yeah, it is an S.
That's an
Yeah,
S for
so
sure.
that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, the budget's more like probably 40 trillion.
Yeah,
And then moving on, I didn't see anything for season 5, but again, season 6 was kind of interesting. 3 new weapons, 2 core maps, another ground war map. This isn't starting till like September, so a long way out. And then the Haunting of Saba event. I don't know does that have a meaning? Does the word Saba mean anything to you? Saba?
No, but it's probably like Japanese Halloween, I would guess. Let me do a little Saba.
There's an Arabic word for Saba, but it doesn't sound like it have anything to do with this. So basically, though, this is some sort of Halloween event, more than likely, because that would take place. Well, it says haunting in it, so yeah, that is a Halloween event. So we'll be getting another one of those this year. Some of those have been kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm looking here. I don't see anything that sticks out to me. Well, what is it? The Haunting of Saba. Maybe it's a place. Let me see. Places. Saba Island. Yeah, there's a bunch of places called Saba. The Saba
Did you look
River.
up Saba Island?
Yeah, I looked up Saba disambiguation
Okay.
page. One of them is an island it's of the Netherlands in the Caribbean. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's a Halloween event.
Wait, so that's a real island? Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe that is something to do with the small map. Then maybe it takes place somewhere like that. Because it could be like the haunting of Rebirth, the haunting of Saba. Probably not. It's probably more like some character they make up. But that's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
that is an island
I'm looking at in
interesting.
YouTube chat. There's a bunch of different uses for Saba.
I'm looking at images
islands.
and copy image address. I mean, why does this just strike me as like a map that they would put in the game? Does that link work? Yeah, it does.
Where'd you put this? Okay.
In
chat. Got it. Let's pull this sucker up.
It could be something like they're basing it off of a map, like an island. Yeah, that could be something. Who knows?
Oh,
It is an island people live on. Who knows? Yeah, maybe we just figured it out.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Does that remind you of Fortune's Keep?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, it's possible.
Cool.
And it could be haunted. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I think the interesting thing about these leaks, obviously the dates are all off because they delayed, or probably are all off because they delayed season 2. That would imply everything else gets pushed back, but they could just have one season be a bit short and then try and get back on the schedule. But the more interesting thing is the only interesting thing here, honestly, to me, is that new small map. That's pretty much it. And by the way, also, actually, in season 6, it says, so, okay. So for example, on season 4, we have 2 core maps, 2 battle maps, 4 gunfights, 1 spec ops, raid, 1 small map. Okay. So take note of 2 battle maps. In season 3, 1 battle map. In season 6, 1 ground war, or 1 GW actually is what it says. That's curious. Would they be changing how they name a map type from battle map to ground war in their calendar? Or does GW imply something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something to consider. But also, it doesn't say any new battle maps here. So it probably is honestly a battle map.
I'm sure it is. It is weird that they changed that because every other wording is the exact way they've used it in every other season. 2 new operators, 1 license, 3 new weapons, 2 core maps, 1 BP for battle pass, tier 1 event, 70 bundles. Everything else is like word for word the exact same other than when they change it from battle maps to 1 GW.
It's weird.
Yeah, what else could GW mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway. Well, if season 6 comes
around, 1 gigantic
then
waste of a season
of development time and resources. Yeah, but again, the only really interesting thing here to me is that 1 new small map, season 4. That would not surprise me that much. It wouldn't. And I'll take it because season 4 is still a ways away. Like we still have some time to go. And we did have 2 small maps in Warzone 1, so it's no stretch to think we're going to have 2. In fact, it's almost certain we're going to have 2 small maps eventually. The only question really is when. And Season 4 seems likely, and now it seems more likely, so that's cool. It's good to know.
Yep. But yeah, so that's about it for that article.
And by the way, it's also worth noting, according to Insider Gaming's Grant Taylor Hill, he thinks small map is similar experience to shipment. I disagree with him. I don't think that's what that means at all. Because again, when we look at the image, they talk about 2 core maps and then 1 small map. I don't think they would distinguish.
Oh, yeah, no. I didn't even... Did he say that?
Yeah. I don't think he would distinguish, or the schedule rather, would distinguish a small core map from 2 core maps. I think they would just say 3 core maps. I don't think they would say a separate category. So I do think the small map means...
That's definitely not... Yeah.
So...
That's reason, because they
use your fucking brain. Just kidding.
Yeah, they've referred to like the other maps as their small maps before, like all the time. So it's definitely some sort of Resurgence map. Yeah. So yeah, so that's cool. A lot of interesting info there.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, another article from InsiderGaming.com. This one is Microsoft signs a 10-year deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms.
Holy shit.
I don't care, but a lot of people do, so we'll go through this quickly. They've signed a binding 10-year contract, which officially confirms this long-term commitment to bring the Call of Duty franchise to Nintendo platforms. Again, this is Microsoft, because Microsoft is currently trying to purchase Activision Blizzard.
Correct.
So the deal follows plans announced in December. Microsoft president said the news on Twitter today, confirming Microsoft has entered a legal agreement with Twitter.
Nintendo.
Blah blah. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said Twitter. Blah blah. That's pretty much it. I don't care. That's the most of it. They signed a deal with Nintendo, and supposedly there is a new Nintendo console being designed, created right now.
Oh, okay, that would make sense. Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be dog shit. Nintendo has never once put out a good.
So yeah, Microsoft
good item,
is Microsoft has committed to a binding 10-year contract with Nintendo that will promise full feature and content parity for same-day releases. Meaning, MW 4 is going to come out on PlayStation 8, Xbox 720, and the Nintendo game Octagon all on the same day. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Bigger player base, I guess. More development work. So... I mean, if you thought there was no QA team now, just wait till you have to make fucking Nintendo patches also. Smile.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe when Microsoft takes over, they'll actually be able to fucking develop something. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. But yeah.
Oh, I don't give a shit. Yeah, but some of you will. So there we go.
Yeah.
You'll soon be able to play on your Nintendo, maybe.
Yeah.
And then one more article from Insider Gaming. This one is titled PlayStation Call of Duty deal ends next year. So Sony's long-running deal with Activision, which saw heavy PlayStation marketing along with new COD content being first released on its platform, is coming to an end. During an interview with CNBC on Tuesday, Microsoft president said that the deal with Sony currently has with Activision Blizzard will expire next year. As it currently stands, that means COD 2024 will be the last of the deal, and that leaves PlayStation with 2 more COD titles guaranteed to release on console if an agreement isn't reached. Speaking of an agreement, Smith, who's the Microsoft guy, said during the interview that the 10-year offered Sony, extending the deal to 12 years total, is better than what Sony currently has. So they offered them a new deal. Sony still hasn't agreed to the deal. I guess there's been some drama going on around that as well. What else is important here?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So there we go. So hopefully they're still on PlayStation forever, but none of the exclusivity dog shit.
Yeah, and here's another thing, because I'm actually seeing I'm seeing a surprising amount on Twitter about this PlayStation shit, which again is surprising to me that the average COD players even knows this is happening. But even if they don't reach a deal with PlayStation, because the deal they have right now is, I mean, in part, it's like COD's going to release on PlayStation, but also part of the deal is the exclusivity shit that PlayStation's been getting for a long time now. In BO4, they would get like new seasons a week early. They get the first beta weekend for all the new games. They get exclusive game modes like Spec Ops and MW 2019, which was terrible and no one played. That was part of the PlayStation deal. If that comes to an end, that's fine. I think that's even good. I think it's dumb that was, from a financial point of view, it was probably smart. But as the players, I thought it was always kind of dumb that they ever did that at all. And if that deal ends, even if you are a PlayStation player, that isn't that big of a deal, because if PlayStation stops getting all of the exclusivity shit, the early betas, the exclusive game modes, the exclusive bundles like they're getting now, etc., that doesn't mean they're going to stop making Call of Duties for PlayStation. There's no world where that's happening. The only possible way that that's happening, I've been on record saying, is if Microsoft wants to make Call of Duty exclusively available on Game Pass. And if they think that that's going to get them more revenue than making box sales to everyone, including PlayStation. But since they just signed a deal with Nintendo for 10 years, that hypothesis is no longer on the table. They can't have Call of Duty be exclusively on Game Pass if they're legally, contractually bound to also provide Call of Duty on Nintendo. So if they're going to not have it be Game Pass exclusive, which is now impossible since they signed that contract with Nintendo, then now it's certain there's no universe where COD has stopped being made for the PlayStation. That's gone. So even if the deal doesn't go through, all that's going to mean is that PlayStation won't get the early betas and the dumb exclusive bundles and play modes that were dog shit anyway that they're getting now, which doesn't really matter. So I think this is fine, and hopefully the deal doesn't go through. I want COD to be on PlayStation. I don't want PlayStation to suck up dev resources on game modes that are PlayStation exclusive that no one plays, including PlayStation players. So that would be fun. This is not a big deal if you play on PlayStation. It's my fun.
Yep.
So
so last thing here was something Charlie Intel put it out when we started the pod. It is it's not really an article. We can kind of read a little bit of it. But so basically, a judge has ruled that 2 individuals who created Call of Duty cheats for engine owning is liable for $3 million in damages to Activision.
Holy shit, really?
So judgment shall be entered against defendant in the amount of $1 million due and payable solely pursuant to the terms set forth in the parties, blah, blah. I think it's mostly lawyer shit.
Yeah, this is from
it talks all about engine owning.
Court document or whatever. Yeah.
So nothing else is exciting there. But yeah, that's it.
Wow.
$3 million. I mean, engine owning is still literally working right now. You can still crash servers with it. So how do these end? These guys actually have to pay that money? I don't know how any of this shit works.
Yeah, where was the court?
I think it was in...
Like what court?
The court, it just says the court hereby. Because they were what? They were some UK lads or something,
That's what
weren't
I'm saying, yeah. So I don't know how this works. Here's the thing, though. And this is sad to say, but first of all, a company like Engine Owning and the guys that are found liable for damages, they almost certainly have like liability insurance or something like that. So they're not just going to be like pulling $2 million out of their checking account, number one. And number two, even if they were, Engine Owning is making a lot more than $3 million.
Oh, yeah.
They are a huge ass, very successful company, and a $3 million fine, even if it was to the company itself, wouldn't ruin Engine Owning. They're way too big to not be able to absorb a $3 million hit. Does this set a precedent for smaller cheat providers to maybe dissuade them from making COD cheats? Probably. Is this a good thing? Yeah, for sure. But this is not going to sink the engine owning ship. That is way too big of a ship to be sunk by this. And I don't know if any legal action would completely undo engine owning. That is likely to happen, unfortunately. So this is cool. I'm glad. And fuck these two kids that are making cheats. Cringe. But this is not going to stop engine owning. Yeah. And not even close. They're way too big. They're making way too much money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Which is sad, but.
So we'll see what ends up happening with this, but I'm sure engine owning will still be making cheats.
Yeah.
Seems like they're selling a lot right now for ranked play, supposedly. So, hey, once Warzone rank comes out, too, they're really going to be cooking. They're going to make $3 million in the first week those cheats are out.
Yeah, for sure. There was something else I was going to say about this. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. Whatever. Either way, yeah. I mean, this is good. It's a start, but... yeah, it's just not going to mean that much, so, unfortunately. Yeah. But, all right, anything else, Tanner?
I don't think so. That's about all she wrote.
That is all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Patreon.com/thedropshot. We have some fire bonus eps coming out this week and next before the close of the month. And if you want to support the show or get some bonus content, we do 5 bonus episodes a month. We do ad-free episodes of the public feed. And we do early access episodes of the public feed as well, without ads. So if you want to support the show, get more content, stop listening to ads, patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the show. You can also go to our website, thedropshot.com, and find links to everything. We got our Discord, we got our Twitter. We also have our merch store where right now, until stock runs out, we are running a blowout sale on all merch. If there is merch, it is 50% off with coupon code BLOWOUT. Lowercase, one word, blowout.
Blowout.
You will get 50% off each and every fucking item. We still got some t-shirts and stickers and other shit in stock in sizes. So if you want to rep the brand or support the program, you can visit the merch store as well. Go to thedropshot.com. You can find the store there. Go to thedropshot.com/store. There's a direct link. And that is it. We will see you guys on Friday for a fun and exciting episode about Call of Duty. Thank you all for watching and listening. Have an excellent evening. And remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.